Philippine Indigenous Communities, Indigenous Peoples of Mindanao by Nadzma Bantas. Next is we're going to talk about the Blaan people or the indigenous people in the Mindanao, Philippine Indigenous Communities. The Blaan people, alternatively spelled as Blaan, are one of the indigenous peoples of the southern Mindanao and the Philippines. Their name could have derived from Bla, meaning opponent, and the suffix an, meaning people, which means opponent people. Other terms used to refer to this group are Blaan, Biraan, Baraan, Villanes, and Villanes. According to a 2021 genetic study, the Blaan people also have Papuan admixture. Classification. The Blaan are neighboring of the Tibulis and live in Lake Cebu. The Tibuli municipalities of South Cotabato, Sarangani, General Santos City, the southern eastern part of Davao, and around Lake Buluan in North Cotabato. They are famous for their brass work, beadwork, and tabi weave. The people of these tribes wear colorful embroidered native costumes and beadwork accessories. The women of these tribes particularly wear heavy brass belts with brass tassels ending in a tiny brass bells that herald their approach even when they are a long way off. History. So we are going to tackle about now the history of the Blaan. Some Blaan natives were displaced when General Santos City was founded in 1939. Others settled in the city. Their language is said to be the source of the name of Corona del City from the two Blaan, Kalon meaning Kogon grass and Nadal or Datal meaning plain, which means Kogon grass, plain Kogon grass, which aptly describe the place of the natives. On the other hand, Marbel, which is another name of the poblacion, is a Blaan term Malib-el, which means murky waters, referring to a river now called Marbel River. The tribe practices indigenous rituals while adapting to the way of life of the modern Filipinos. Relation with settlers and their descendants are not always harmonious. Ilonggo settlers reportedly clashed with some Blaan natives in March 2015. There are also indigenous Blaan religion. Some of the deities in the Blaan pantheon include the Melu, the Sawe. When we say Melu, it is the supreme being and the creator. He was white skin and gold teeth. He is assisted by Fiue and Tasue. Si Sawe is joined Melo to live in the world. Si Fiue is a spirit who live in the sky. Si Diwata is a spirit who joined Flue to live in the sky. Si Tasue is the evil spirit. Si Fun Kayo is the spirit of the trees. Si Fun El is the spirit of water. And si Fun Bato is the spirit of rock and stones. Si Tau Dilam Tana is the spirit who lives in the underworld. Si Loos Klagan is the most feared deity. Uttering his name is considered a curse. Next is also they have this tradition. Blaan have this tradition. First, they have been known for their weaving tradition. The Blaans have a system of weaving using abaca. The art of abaca weaving is called mabal or mabal tabi, while the cloth produced by this process is called tabi. Blaan weavers do not use spinning wheels. Instead, they join together by hand strands and abaca filter, which are then used to weave the tabi. Fuyabing Dulu was one of the surviving master designers left of the mabal tabi of ikat weaving. Next is the brass and copper work and beadwork. The Blaan have a tradition of creating art from brass and copper. The Blaan smelt brass and copper to produce small beads and handles of long knives. These knives, called dafais, are made with intricately designed brass. The Blaan also sew plastic beads or shell sequins to create intricate design on women's blouses and trousers called the takmon. Geometric and other design depicting the environment for the solar system are sewn using the cotton yarns onto men's parts and shirts called the misif. That would be all. Thank you. Hey everyone, I am Nadzma Bantas, and for today's video, we are going to tackle about the indigenous peoples of the Mindanao. First, we are going to tackle about the Tibulis. In the mountain of Cotabato lives a colorful ethnic group known as Tiboli. This group has many names including Tagabili and Tiboli. The Tibolis occupy an area of about 750 square miles where the southern ends of the Southwest Coast Range and the Cordillera, also known as the Tiruray Highlands, merge. The culture center falls more or less in the central part of the triangle whose points are the towns of the Surala, Pulumulok, and Kiamba. Within this triangle are three major lakes, the Lake Cebu, the Lake Lahit, and the Lake Silutan. The Tibolis are people of medium build. They are light in complexion. Some of them are square-jawed. Their hair may be curly or straight. Tiboli women dress in a long-sleeve, tight-fitting waist-length, collarless blouse, which is in plain black, dark, or navy blue. Their tubular skirt is ankle length. For a special occasion, the Tiboli woman is dressed in a pinstripe linen skirt. The Tiboli men no longer wear traditional attire today. They normally go about in ordinary pants and skirts with the typical Tiboli sword, which they always carry at their side. In a Tiboli family, the father is the head of the family. All his orders are followed and he makes all the decisions. The wife can also give her suggestions or opinions depending upon his economic resources and ability to support. A husband can have a number of wives. To them, it is prestigious to have several wives. A wife, though, cannot enjoy the privilege of the former. However, a husband who wishes to marry again must seek the permission of the wife first. All the wives live under one roof. The first wife always assumes the responsibility of apportioning equally among the wives all the household chores and the work in the fields. So technically, ang culture ng Tiboli is not just like other people says. Ang culture ng Tiboli is you can have several wives with the decision that you can provide all to them. Same with others. You must provide first, and it is very hard to live in one roof. There is also this study that the Tibolis have also gained their new culture that a younger child or a teenager can marry a man to provide for his family. Kasi Tiboli have this one thing na parang they view it as a good thing, because if you are a teenager, as you grow up, you won't be allowed to go with your parents, to live with your parents. That's why teenager Tibolis or Tiboli tribes have always a seek for someone to marry because of the independency when you are teenager when you are growing up. Next is the houses are spread sparsely over the entire Tiboli area. They come in isolated clusters of 3 or 4 since there is a close interaction among relatives. The house is raised about 6 feet or more above the ground, with the side always barely more than 3 feet high. The roof is made of kogon or other dried grass, which is strung and sewn down to the bamboo rafters with stripes of a raw abaca or rattan. The posts are of the bamboo except for the tree stumps still rooted to the ground and that are occasionally utilized as posts for the inner portion of the floor. The walls of the house are bamboo split from the inside and flattened out of the woven bamboo stripes called lahak. So as you can see in the picture, this is how Tiboli houses are made. Technically, ang culture ng Tiboli is they would build a house. It wears, they call that in normal in our language now as a makan, but in a sense that they have pillars to that, or magiging higher, they have like this foundation to put their houses higher than that, because they have also experienced catastrophes and phenomena that affect them on their past, or yung mga dati nila, mga ninuno nila. So they have learned from that. But as technically houses, Tiboli houses have made it more clear that their house their house are technically can be seen with pillars or yung mga posts. May mga posts siya. And it also made of bamboo. They also are known for that, where they called the bamboo stripes as lahak. Like other hill people, the Tiboli subsist on hunting, fishing, and cultivation. The rivers, lakes, and marshes of the region have always been the source of the fish caught by using fishing rods, spews, nets, and the traps. Mudfish, catfish, freshwater shrimp, and snails are common food items. Ducks are also raised along the lake's shores. Tiboli society is ruled by a datu who assumes several roles. He has social, economic, religious, and political functions. There are a number of datus in Tiboli society with varying degrees of power. Fame and status achieved or ascribed by the datus to themselves and recognized by their followers. So technically, there are also rulers in the Tiboli tribe. They also have leaders on their own. They have rulers, leaders, which aims for their social growth, economic, religious, and political functions. The position of Datu is not hereditary, so which is a good one in the Tiboli tribe because they have known leadership as something you can gain and not from your name. No Datu enjoys primacy over the others, nor does he exercise specific jurisdictional control over specific areas or group. Other Datu might accord differential treatment to one of their members, but this is not a sign of this superiority over them. So parang you are a Datu, but you're still the same with us. That is their culture. That is what the Tiboli culture is implementing and saying when you are in your higher position or Datu in your role. Next is the Tiboli Kesiyahan or marriage is a long process that may be conducted in three major stages. You can have it from childhood, puberty, and adolescence, and the crowning celebration called Monimum. Marriages are pre-arranged by the parents and may be contracted at any age, even immediately after the child's birth. At any age, even immediately. The monimum is a series of 6 feasts hosted alternately by the families of the bride and the groom. Done over a period ranging from 2 to 6 years, the monimum is an optical celebration which one wealthy Tibolis can afford. Each feast runs for 3 to 5 days and nights. Polygamy is allowed among the Tiboli, a practice resorted to especially by the chieftains and the wealthy. The grounds for divorce include incompatibility, sterility, and infidelity. Next is the Tiboli do not regard death as inevitable. Rather, it is a trick played by the busaw or evil spirits or punishment inflicted by gods. This is rooted in the awakening of the moment of the spirit return. Thus, should the spirit not return, death occurs. The Tiboli supreme deities are married couple Kadaula Sambad, the son of God, and Bulun Lamungguao, the moon goddess. They reside in the 7th heaven. They beget 7 sons and daughters who end up marrying each other. Kumukul, the eldest son, is given a cohort of fire, a tuk sword, and shield. Kumulkul is married to Boy Kabil Sfidat. The second is married to the second daughter, Bong Libun. Next is one of the most influential figures in the Tiboli pantheon is the Muhen, a bird considered the god of fate whose song when heard is thought to presage misfortune. Any undertaking is immediately abandoned by postponed when one hears Mohen sing. The Tiboli also believe in busaw or malevolent spirit which wreak havoc on the lives of human beings, thus causing misfortune and illness. Deso or propitiatory offerings of unuk bukay or white chicken or sedo pig are made to palace or gain favors from this evil spirit. Tiboli rites are normally presided over by a morally upright leader who is a proficient in their tradition, often enough the Datu themselves presides. So technically, there are also supernatural being and there are a sense of tribe. The Tiboli also experience the busaw or the malevolent spirits, and also they also believe that there is this one bird who sang a song that consider good god of fate. The Tiboli metal craft tradition distinguishes Tiboli culture and is linked to Glinton, the god of metalwork who occupies a stellar place in the Tiboli pantheon. Tiboli metalwork consists of bracelet and solid anklets. Recent product of the metalwork tradition is the Tiboli Tiboli figurine. Tiboli weaving is another skill that has been raised to the level of art. Their traditional cloth, the tinalak, is made of krungun, abaca fiber extracted from the mature fruit-bearing wild abaca. Tiboli folk literature reflects the typical beliefs, custom, and tradition of their society. Practically every aspect of Tiboli life is governed by folk beliefs and saying. The epic Tudbulul is the core of Tiboli folk literature and the foundation on which Tiboli identity rests. The epic is sung into entirely one of the most important occasions like weddings. This may last up to 16 hours depending on the number of versions sung. Just as the wealth of Tiboli folklore is amazing and the sophistication of their music, so is variety of their dances. Tiboli children learn these dances from all members of the household at a very young age. That would be all. Thank you, God bless, and have a nice day.